How y'all doing out there today? So we are going to get started. I know we have another special guest on the way, but right now I want to introduce you to Miss Enerlock, and we're going to be talking about just everything locked.
I love it.
Everything locked.
Here for it.
Like we need to discuss what is going on in our lock community.
Yes.
Right? There's so many misperceptions, just misinformation, and we just want to help you guys. We want to make sure y'all get the right information, the correct information, so that we can make sure y'all have a healthy lock community. That's what we're building. That's what this is about. That's why we're here to give the people the information so we can make sure our community stays healthy. Right?
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So needed. So it's like ingenious of you to put together this platform. So well done.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being here. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to stop by and show us some love. Because I know you're busy. You
We
know?
all are. But it's, we make time for things that are
Yeah.
important.
And I really appreciate having you.
Yes. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Um, so, what's going to be our first topic? What would you like to discuss? Let's see. So, what we want to talk about is just to start off, what do you think is a good length to start off? Because a lot of people, they just, oh, I need my hair to grow longer and, things like that. So, what do you think? And as well, what do you guys think about the length that you need to start your life journey? So, let's discuss that a little bit and
Yes.
see.
Well, I guess I will start off by just sharing a little background of who I am. It might be helpful. So my name is Amity Nelson. I am from Connecticut. I am a loctician as well. I am an inventor. So I wear many different hats, but I just love the lock community. And that's a great question because as locticians, we get that question all the time when people are looking to start their journeys. And for me, I like to take it case by case, but I can throw out some things that might be helpful when considering.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So-
That's how we look
Okay,
at
somebody,
I mean,
3 inches.
Right.
It depends.
I mean, we know every
Yes,
situation
exactly.
is
Varies.
different. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so it's situational, really.
That's it, right? So for me, I like to factor in texture, curl pattern. So if someone has a tightly, curl, like, oh, I can work with like an inch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Inch and a half. However, there's a however, if the person has a looser curl pattern, then I'm gonna need a little bit more because the goal is once I start your locks, I kind of want them to stay in. I don't want to have to constantly redo.
Correct. Yes.
So for me, it kind of just depends. And for depending on the person's a technique, they may have other considerations. Like if a person's going to start off with lock extensions, they may
Right.
require a little bit more. But if I'm working with natural,
Yeah.
I'm looking at those factors. So 1.5 inches, 2 inches is usually my sweet spot.
Okay, well that sounds good. So what about you guys? Do y'all have any questions? If you have any questions, feel free to put in the comments and let us answer some of your questions. So what is a good starting length that you think is a good length to start?
Yes. Now I have a question for you, if that's okay.
Okay.
So tell me, when you started your first set, what length did you have?
Woo! So this is the thing. I've had 7 sets.
Awesome, I love it.
So I've actually started with so many different lengths.
Okay.
I started this short.
Okay.
How I am now.
Yes.
No, I'm not starting my locks over. It's just a hairstyle. I started when my hair was to the middle of my back.
Okay.
Because I was going to the Dominicans, getting it pressed out, and I decided I wanted to start locks. So I started my sister locks, right? And I know there's a thing like you can't start your locks if you have a relaxer. Even though I didn't have a relaxer,
yes,
my hair was still natural.
Okay.
But I had heat damage.
And that kind of is like
It's
being processed.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what happened is when I started my sister locks, they started from my new growth. and my ends were just loose and just straggly.
Was it a difficult time for you?
It was a difficult time because I'm like, okay, my roots is locked, but then my hair is straight. So
And you said that it was long. You had length to
it
it.
was long and I
Okay.
had length.
Okay.
But it was just the difficulty of dealing with the straight part of my hair. It was frizzy, I couldn't grasp the long frizziness. Even though I was attached to my hair, I did not want to cut off my length. I was so attached to my length, and that's a lot of things that we in the community go through. Like it's something about that length that we do not.
Yes, we don't want to let it go until we've achieved that length, and then it's like, long hair is overrated. Cut it off. At least that was for me. Once my locks, I was previously locked.
Mhm.
When I had my locks, I grew them out, and it was like to the middle of my back. I had them for about 11 years.
Wow.
And then at that point, I'm like, it's just getting in my way.
Wow.
And I cut them, and I had clients that were like really upset with me, like, what are you
Yes.
doing?
Yes.
Why are you cutting your locks? And they still to this day, I've been cut, I'm gonna say maybe going on maybe 3 years, and they will bring it up to this day.
Yes.
Like she cut them though.
Right, exactly. So when I just cut my locks, it seems like my clients were more emotional about me cutting my hair than I was. I was happy, but they were really upset about me cutting my hair.
Yeah.
I don't
Same.
understand that. Like,
Same.
why? I don't have to have locks
Yes.
to be a loctician.
No.
Because for one, I wasn't doing my own hair.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you hold me to you need to have locks if you're doing locks?
Exactly. It's like,
I don't know.
I don't subscribe to that.
Right.
But even if I didn't, it's like,
Yeah.
it's okay. But it's interesting though, because I feel as though sometimes people do make, like judgments, like you're a loctician and they're looking like, sometimes like, but I'm a loctician, y'all. It's okay if I don't have them. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. But I'm not gonna lie to you. It seems like now I'm getting bullied into growing my locks back. Yeah. So y'all, people,
No, come on, y'all. You can't do that. Don't do that. She's on a journey. All are on journeys. We may come back, we may not.
Exactly.
It's okay.
It's okay that I don't have locks.
Yes.
I'm not gonna change my talent.
Exactly.
It's just I'm not interested in that look right now.
Right.
I just want my natural curly hair.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
So y'all give me a break. Stop trying to bully me.
Don't do that. That's not nice. That's not nice. So I'm curious, did anyone, comment on their length, like their preferred, how long was their lock, year here before they began their lock journey?
Not
No,
yet.
not yet?
No.
Y'all engage with us. We want that dialogue, right?
Right, exactly. We're trying to give y'all this information, but y'all gotta interact.
We feed off your energy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, so I guess we can move on.
Okay.
Let's talk about this stigma with the ugly stage.
Oh, yes.
What?
Yes.
Let's talk about it, guys. I know y'all have questions about the ugly stage. What exactly? Yeah, what exactly does the ugly stage mean?
And is it really ugly?
Right. Is it really
Is
ugly?
it really ugly?
Or is it just how you perceive?
Perception is everything.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
So I'm very interested in that.
Yes,
Because
yes.
is it because your hair is short?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Or
that the
ugly?
Is
Is it? I mean, from
the frizz? Like what is?
I would say from my experience, whenever I'm starting someone on their journey, I have a group where they fall into it's the ugly stage where they will leave like, what did I do?
Right.
What did I, and then they go home and the support's not there. So support your people, y'all, because people are already dealing with something. If they're walking from your salon chair and they see a lot of scalp or the length and they're like, I look like a plucked chicken. And I hear stories all the time where, loved ones are like, what? You paid for that?
Yes.
What is it supposed to look like that? Are you gonna cover that up? And then I'm like, and what I try to do is remind them, if you can, record the comments that you have, and then a year later, record their response. Because it's different. Then it's like, I should have locked you locked if they're beautiful, it's
Yeah.
So it's so funny. And then you have others in another category where they don't experience, like they don't see it as being the ugly phase. Like they're like, I love each part of this journey, like every single part of it. And there's space for everyone, but for me, I know I try to get people to embrace the space that they're currently in and let them know that it's truly a beautiful journey. That you won't be here again unless you start over. And it's like, don't. And sometimes people will cover up because of, how they feel. They don't feel as beautiful. They don't perceive themselves as. And again, if you don't have the support at home, then it's like, oh, it makes it worse. Like I gotta go out the house like this. I gotta cover it up.
Yeah.
But it's like, what can we do to help you get through that phase? And one thing that I started doing recently is when I got ready to lock people, I would say, let's set your intentions on your journey, right?
Wow.
What is there something that you want to be like your affirmation, or perhaps you are at this space where you're getting ready to lock? Is there something that this can be a reminder of, symbolic of? And I remember having someone where she said that I want to really be in a space of acceptance. I'm a control freak. Everything has to be tight, laid to the side, control. And a few, like, I'm gonna say weeks later, a couple months later, she was like, Amini, like, I'm ready to take these out. Yeah. And I'm like, question for you. What were your intentions? Now, I forgot what her intentions were. And she was quiet. And she was like, to just release and to be in the moment and to accept things I cannot change and not to force. And then she had this aha moment and it actually helped her on her journey. So it was quite amazing to see that, and now, what is your idea of the ugly phase and how do you deal with that when someone's starting their journey?
So I like to make sure you're confident on the inside because that's where your beauty begins. It's on the inside of you. Yeah. You have to know it don't matter what my hairstyle is, I'm it. I'm beautiful either way.
Absolutely.
So I try to, give them that affirmation and let them know, don't worry about what your friends have. Because your friends and family or your circle had long hair, sew-ins, long braids, weave, and you're the only person with this little bitty hair. Start your life journey.
Yes.
You're like an alien.
Yeah. To them. People who haven't gone through that.
Correct. But you have to know.
You are it.
You are it.
I like that.
So there's no ugly stage.
I agree. I feel like I think there's different things you can do to help a person like to go through that.
Yeah.
Adorn. You can do some wraps, make it cute, have a little coming down like a bang and kind of make it curly at the top. I mean, you can work it. You play around with it. But in the journey, like, it happens so quickly, the transformation. Like, I'm sure from your experience, every time they're coming in for a retwist, it looks different.
It looks different. The hair is growing, it's budding, and they're excited about it.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, you have to be excited in your journey. Because once it locked and mature all the way, you're like, oh, I missed the short stage. Oh, do you
now? Always.
So, that ugly stage. So, do we have any questions in the audience? Like,
we have Antoine, my crown, said she started her locks from 3 to 4 inches.
Okay. Wow. Congratulations.
And even with that length, I feel like people go through a slightly different journey from somebody who had longer length.
Yeah.
Like when I start off with longer length,
Exactly.
when I start again, oh, it's gonna be short. It's gonna be just like you.
Yeah. Yeah, you do definitely get a different journey when you start off short, just in your length and where you are in life.
Yes,
Where you are in
absolutely.
life. So you gotta just, embrace where you are.
Embrace it.
Embrace where you are.
And words matter, y'all. Wake up in the morning, you feel like that plucked chicken, look at yourself in that mirror and say, I am fly.
You're right.
I'm amazing. I am fabulous. Keep that head up high and walk out the house just like that.
Get you some earrings, some big earrings, put on your makeup. Walk it on with makeup, just a little blouse.
Absolutely.
And,
people will vibe off your energy. It's confidence. It's all about confidence anyway. Own it.
Yeah. So when you can walk out the house with little twists, like they're like, okay, girl, I see you rocking your twist.
Exactly. And it looks fly.
And it looks fly, yeah.
It does, yes.
So it's a beautiful thing.
Kai, the stylist, says she's on her way. She says that the longer the better, at least 1 inch.
Yes,
That's her.
yes.
Okay.
I love it. Great.
On your way, Kai, that was 15 minutes ago. Okay.
We keeping your seat warm though.
Yeah. So let's talk about the different techniques of
Okay.
starting your locks, the maintenance of your locks. Let's get into it.
Okay.
We have an
This is Keisha, y'all. Oh, Keisha, she being so rude, y'all. Bam, we have Keisha here.
Hey, Keisha, girl.
How you doing?
Okay, so what is your perception on retwist versus interlock?
Okay, great question. So I come from the space of a interlocker, micro lock. So I currently do not offer traditional lock services, Palmer, which is amazing that we have your experience, and our special guests who will be able to tap into that. So I can speak from my expertise in the field of micro locks.
Okay.
So
do you specialize in micro locks?
yes, I do.
Oh,
Micro locks.
okay,
Yes. I love all things microlocks. Interlocks, that's another thing. I don't know if this was on the list. If I'm jumping ahead, my apologies.
No,
okay. But oftentimes there are questions around what are microlocks, interlock, sister locks, like what does that look like?
Right.
So this might be helpful to share so that you know how to navigate that space when you do get to a space of trying to figure out what method might be best for you, right? So when it comes to the name microlocks can be started a few different ways.
Right.
You can start microlocks with a 2-strand twist. You can start, you have some people who will start with a 2-strand twist. You have some people who will start their microlocks with interlocking technique, which I specialize in.
Okay.
And then you have others who will start it with a braid. And this is, of course, you can add extensions onto it as well, right? So for me, I typically will use the interlocking technique because I like for the locks to kind of start off at a place where they're kind of put together, less likely to slide out. Because if you probably gather from what I said earlier, if I don't have to redo, I try not to have to redo work, right? So for me, I'm able to do interlocking, which again, that's a form of microlocks, using the interlocking method.
Okay.
So I know you wanted to know how to start, right?
No, not necessarily how to start.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of kind of negative when it comes to interlocking. Because
let's talk about it.
Yes, let's talk about this. There's a lot of interlocking makes your hair thinner or it makes your hair break off and I know if it's interlocked the wrong way, you split your locks. So, retwist. Me, since in my professional field, I am a palm roller. Yes. I'm gonna palm roll your hair.
Exactly.
To the gods.
Yes. To the gods. I love that.
I only do interlocking if it's requested.
Okay.
Just because with the retwist, for me, you bud faster.
Yes.
and you can always see the budding.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Versus interlocking
It
is
takes a
always
little
tight.
longer.
It's
Yes.
always tight. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Always tight.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, they don't really get to experience how thick their hair really can be.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But that's just my
Yes.
perception.
Okay.
I mean, I've had such a lot, three
Yes.
sets.
Yeah.
Personally,
Yes.
I love interlocking because I'm tender-headed.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I am very tender-headed.
Yes.
Right? Interlocking?
Yes.
Oh, baby. You need a little Advil, a little Tylenol.
You know, so I would say, and it also depends on a person's, tenderness, because in the technique I find in the tool can make a huge difference in terms of how it feels. Because because there's different tools that you can use when you're doing, interlocking micro locks. You can use a latch hook, crochet hook. That's what I meant by latch hook. You can use an interlocking needle, and then you can use a tool like an interlocking tool itself to interlock. So there's different techniques that one could do, especially if a person's a bit more tender, tender-headed. So I think that plays a huge role.
Okay.
And in terms of the density, in terms of how the locks evolve over time, some people will do a two-strand twist because it will give more of a fuller type of, outlook, outcome.
Right.
Or the braid, of course, is tighter, or thicker, right? The braid is a little tighter, and then the interlocking, it's all condensing. But it also depends on the size.
Yeah.
Because if you're going for small locks, right?
Yes,
it's not going to be as dense.
Correct.
And
with the smaller locks,
yes,
you do not want to retwist smaller locks. Like micro locks.
Yeah, that would take forever.
Not even just that, but eventually if you keep twisting at something, it's gonna thin.
Spot.
It's gonna create a weak spot, it's gonna thin out. So when you do micro locks and sister locks, the best method would be the interlocking.
And and I find with the interlocking, the hair the lock is stronger at the point of a retie, right? Because what ends up happening as the locks, your hair is growing, and the new growth area is coming through. If nothing's being done, then that creates a weak spot. It could become a area of breakage where if you're not on top of your retightenings, especially the perimeter, right? Because that's really delicate. It doesn't take much for you to have hairs that are snapping, which will cause weak spots or locks just snapping all together. So it is strongest at the point of a retightening, or retwist. Yes, right? Especially when it comes to the palm rolling, keeping it nice and tight. But there are also different locking patterns that can be used that will generate a different look. Like if a person's wanting a thicker type of look, they can use a different rotation pattern, which will give more volume. Or if a person has more density, you can use another technique that is being done where it kind of condenses, the lock size. So it's not, if you don't want to have that full-on lion look, then you would choose a pattern that will kind of tighten it up. But it goes back to, the size that you're going for, because if you're going for like a medium, a thicker, you're gonna have that fullness with interlocking as well, micro locks. But if you're going smaller, there's less strands that are coming together to form a lock.
And what I'm starting to notice is, I know people have this trend. I don't get my hair twisted for 3 months. I'm going with 6 months without a retwist, or a whole year without a retwist. You cannot do that. That is not a healthy stage. Like, I know people are afraid of their locks thinning.
Yes.
But when you go that long without a retwist or some type of maintenance, you're damaging your hair. Because guess what? The longer you go, the new growth separates from the actual lock.
Yes.
And that's what creates damage.
Absolutely.
So, and people have the tendency to kind of like pick at the new growth just to see how long the new growth is.
And it will snap. It's like the weight. And especially if you've been locked for a long time, it's gonna carry a particular weight to it, right? So if this lock had been formed and it's like, let's say some years old, it has a little bit of weight to it, and that new growth, if you're like going, like you said, years, months too far, you have all of this, so you can put I can put my whole hand through.
Right.
That is all areas that could just snap, and it doesn't take much for it, look, just to snap out of the lock
Right.
and shorten. And so when that's happening, when the loctician goes in to retighten it, you have less strands, right? So if you start off with your solid lock being, let's say, 20 strands, and then you go too far in between a retightening, those, you can have like 5 strands that have pops. And so when we go in to do our retwist or retightening, it's thin. So now you have 15 strands.
Right.
There's a gap, and then it starts to grow out more, and you capture it again, but now you have the sweet spot. And then it creates more work for the loctician, and ultimately ends up costing more money for repair, you know?
Because at that point, that's what it is.
That's the repair. Absolutely.
My locks are thin, they're breaking, they're falling out.
Yes. And a lot of that can be prevented.
It can.
It can be.
You just have to stay on a regular maintenance.
Absolutely.
For me, I typically tell people to come once a month.
Okay.
Once a month, that's your regular maintenance. Only because it's not too soon.
Yes.
It's not too far ahead. And it doesn't thin your hair out. A lot of people think once a month, it's too soon. But it's really not. You want to make sure you keep up your maintenance of your lock to make sure that they stay healthy.
And so for micro locks, we tend to, I don't want to say we, I'll speak from my experience.
Okay.
It depends on a person's growth, right? So I have some people where it grows super fast because you have to realize when interlocking, there is a clear line of demarcation, if you will, from the previously locked and then the new growth, where it's just strands and then the lock.
Right.
And so if a person is going too frequent, you're entering the tool, it can cause more stress on the scalp, the hair, right? And so for me, I don't want to retighten it too quickly because I don't want to cause stress.
Right.
But I don't want to wait too long because I don't want you to be in another situation where your locks are now suffering, they're being compromised. So typically I would say 6 to 8 weeks is what for most of my clients, what I like to see. Now, if they are newer, that's another thing, right? So if you're starting your journey and a person starting with short length, let's say your length, right? If I were to do your micro lock at your length, in the beginning, I'm looking at your texture, it's a soft curl to it. So for me, I would start your locks, but I would want to see you probably in 4 weeks. So I can check up to see if any are sliding out. You know, I want to catch it before it comes completely out because I don't want to have to redo my work, right? So I want to get you to the point where you're locking quicker. And so I'll have you come in a little bit more frequent in the beginning, but then afterwards, I'll go ahead and kind of space your retightenings and really kind of see, okay, can we do 6 weeks? Can we do 8? And we have growth spurts too. So,
we do.
You know, so many things to factor in.
Well, welcome. We got Ki the stylist.
Hey girl, you looking fabulous.
Better late than never. Hello. How are you? This is Miss Enerlock. This is
How are you?
Good. So we were just talking about interlock versus retwist. So we were just
frequency and
just kind of trying to see, you know, what is the timeline on maintenance that you would suggest to the people?
Well, I don't interlock.
Right. So
I do traditional, palm. I feel like interlocking is for sister locks or
micro locks.
So she specializes in micro locks.
Yeah, I feel like you should do one or the other.
Yeah.
Because when you do both, it kind of messes up the lock pattern.
Yeah, you see all the deep lines of demarcation.
Yeah. Unless it's for sister locks.
Yeah. See, this is what we have a diverse group, so people here from all types, you know, techniques.
So with your expertise in palm rolling, twisting, what is your suggested time?
As far as maintenance, I tell my customers every 3 weeks, no longer than a month. So 4 weeks is the longest. The hair starts to build up with sweat and oils and whatnot, and lots of it's funny, so you don't want everything to get trapped into it. So get it washed at least once a month. If you get your hair washed, of course you get it very twisted because it's stuff in the hair, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, yes.
So,
How often do you?
same, I say once a month, but it's once every 3 weeks, just to, make sure that it is, yeah.
What about, Michael?
Right, Loc'd, so I was sharing that it kind of just depends on where you are, like if you're starting off with her length, I would wanna see her like in 4 weeks, just because I'm trying to make sure the locks are not sliding out because of her texture. But if she's more mature, more like her length is a bit longer, I typically will see my folks between 6 to 8 weeks. Sometimes now if it's interlock with a larger size, they can go a little bit longer, right? So they can go 8 weeks, 9 weeks, and
That's
some
a
cases,
larger
it's
size?
a larger. There's definitely a difference when it comes from my experience with my clients who have smaller, like the, smaller locks, right? Versus a medium-sized interlock, the frequency is a bit different. The smaller the locks are, it's more fragile because it's less strands to that lock versus having more strands where it can sustain a bit more.
Okay,
So,
okay, great.
sustain a bit more.
Okay,
So,
okay, great. So let's.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah.
I'm nobody.
No.
I'm kind of stylist. I've been doing locks all my life. I think natural hair at least, but yeah, all my life. I own a salon in Stockbridge. It's called Hydrate Natural Hair Spa. Maybe
Here's the backstory thing.
no, I'm pretty sure. That's about it. Into natural hair and natural hair care. That's my thing.
Yeah, she is super.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah, I used to do her locks when she had them.
Yeah, so
Oh.
she used to style my sister locks.
Yes,
So anytime
yes.
you think my hairstyle,
Okay, you're responsible
she's
behind.
okay.
Okay.
She's behind
It looks like
it.
I'm trying to lock again. I don't know.
Well, actually, no. Don't come in here trying to bully me. Like,
We were talking about that earlier. We're like, do not bully her, y'all.
She's really bad.
no, I'm just wearing this as a style because, I like yours.
Thank you.
Yes,
That's the goal. My goal is to have my natural curly pattern, just, natural hair.
We'll see.
And my goal is, because I'm not with this, the long kitten
Okay.
and doing, I'm like, I'm gonna lock again, so.
I was waiting for my hair to get to a certain length to lock again, because everybody's like, you keep saying you're gonna lock it. I'm like, yeah, I don't wanna go through the ugly phase. That's something like.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
okay, I think we need to go back.
we can definitely go back.
Everybody don't have to go through the ugly phase.
So what is the ugly phase to you?
I guess the ugly phase to them is.
No, to you.
Well, to me, I don't think it's an ugly phase. I think it's all your stylist. Your stylist should know what looks good for you. You know what I mean? But some people is, short hair doesn't complement their face shape or face structure or whatnot. So it's not ugly. It's just you gotta know how to complement your looks. If that makes sense. So I have this thing I call starter lock funk, where I add a weave to the starter locks. Like say if your hair is this short, I'll put some barrels in it, and I'll just add like a little attachment or whatnot. So you got to updo, and you don't have to feel like you're going through an ugly stage.
Yeah.
You can do things, but you don't have to go through an ugly stage.
Yes, yes,
It's a preference.
yes.
Okay.
And here we go, embrace it.
Embrace
You
it.
ain't gotta embrace it. I don't know what they call
Embrace it, embrace it, embrace it, right? People embrace it,
Everybody
talk to
knows
yourself,
that.
it's amazing.
What do you
Confidence, work it.
Some people look, like, if you're trying to look more feminine, sometimes the short hair don't look.
Oh, wait a minute now.
I'm telling you, like me, for instance, when my hair is short, I'm so insecure.
I think it's about perception.
No, it really looks horrible.
No.
So the thing is, you have to be confident in yourself.
You hate that. That's not gonna make you.
I tried that.
You have to be confident in yourself. You are beautiful no matter how your hair
Yes.
is. Yes.
And then when you said that you were waiting for your hair to get to a certain length before starting, I'm like, are you starting like now it's shorter. What?
No, I just got to this length and it needs to be a little bit longer.
Okay, so that's interesting. I started with longer, and I'm like, I cut it off. My goal is to start again, but I want to start so short, like to the
It'll
point
look
where
good on your face. It won't look good on me.
I think it will look
No,
beautiful.
I'm telling you.
Yo, we gonna work on her. We gonna work on her.
It's horrible.
No.
It doesn't look good on me. Just like that haircut does not look good on anybody. Y'all know that.
And you can't say that.
Everybody does not wear a ball.
That's just your perception. Like you can't say
I'm not be honest. I don't know why.
Like she said, I'm coming with the real of the real. Don't listen to them. Like no.
No, they will not listen to her. She will have you with weave. That's
We
your
gotta
bad.
do a poll. We gotta do a poll. Can we do a poll here?
Yes, let's do a poll.
Let's do a poll. What do y'all think?
Do you embrace it or do you make what is it?
Make weave like add weave. No,
Additives.
no,
Embrace or add?
no.
Embrace or add?
Not journey. She is over here.
I'm trying for all of my customers to be happy.
Yeah,
Most of them are insecure with their start locks.
Exactly, they're insecure, but your job as a stylist is to.
But it don't matter what I say. If they come here and they're not comfortable.
How do you know? Have you tried?
I know.
Have you
They'll text me when they leave. Like,
Have you
Work
tried?
for me.
But you know what I did experience, because I do have some clients where they didn't like the beginning phase. It was hard for them.
Mhm.
But then they actually went through this journey and they appreciated it. They didn't know
Yeah,
at
they
that
do what they
time.
do.
And then they're like, I'm glad that I didn't, in some cases, I'm glad I didn't start with extensions because I really had a chance to fall in love with me, fall in love, because I was not offering extensions at that time. And she told me that she knows for a fact she would have went for that. But the fact I wasn't, she was like, and I went through this journey, like I have this appreciation. There was this inner blossoming, I'm making my words, blossoming, I don't know what I'm trying to say. She was blossoming inside. Was that a word? I still feel like blossoming. Did I just make up a word? Y'all? Yeah. But she went through that journey and she loves it. She's so glad she had a chance to kind of like go through that.
Everybody in there.
Yeah. But I think when they get over, they are.
Yeah, once they get over it,
Yeah.
but some don't make it. I've had people
You
cry
have,
on my chair. Like, I'm like, okay, let me go get this weave real quick.
Yeah.
And it's not a permanent weave, it's temporary.
Yes,
It's
it's
temporary.
temporary.
Every time they come, I take it off and.
Yeah.
So, okay, so this is what I want to find out. So are locks now a fashion trend? Because locks is originally a culture
Right.
thing, and it stands for freedom. Being free, being rebellious, just being who you are
Yes.
without anyone or not caring about the opinions.
Yes.
Or what people have to say. So now I'm finding that locks is more of a trend. What do y'all think? Is it more of a fashion? Like you change your outfit, or maybe bell bottoms is in style this day, and
It's definitely a fashion if you're getting your hair done.
well,
When
it's,
locks start, nobody got their hair
but
done.
locks
so.
are Rasta.
Right.
Rasta, it's their
That's
culture.
brands, honestly, but locks, like they separated it and made their own little term.
Okay, so fill us
Locks is
in.
when you're manicured and uniform and whatnot, get styled.
Okay.
Dread, you don't do none of that. You just wash it and that's it. Wash and go.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So culture-wise, it's called dreads.
Yeah, I guess. It was
So,
dread at first before it was locks.
so it was dreadlocks.
Yeah, but dread, yeah.
Okay.
And it was a
So-
shift, from, because we were like, it's not dreadful.
It's
Right.
not
And then
dreadful.
we got away. But I feel like the term is still used, dreadlock in certain
Rarely.
situations.
Really?
Yeah,
Because
now I feel like not in our circle, out of our circles, that they still connected to, dreadlocks.
yeah, but a lot of people will get offended and cuss you
Oh,
out.
there's
Oh, I don't
dread
have
about
dreads,
that.
I have
Yeah,
locks.
absolutely.
Yeah,
There's nothing dreadful about
Exactly.
it.
I don't think that's why they weren't getting the locks because they thought it was nasty,
Yeah.
not uniform. So that's why they get offended when you call them dreads now.
Yeah.
But it's all in the person. Like you can see locks and it looks like it's not maintenance and whatnot, but it's clean. Like
It's clean. Like for instance, wigs.
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
I love wigs. I love like the whole culture of wigs.
Yes.
It's my passion. I
Yes.
should love it. Huh?
It should be an interior.
What?
Five big ones.
She's bullying me. Don't bully me.
It was a suggestion.
So yeah,
I feel like it's become more trendy. From the years that I've been doing, it started off where people were, let's just be real, they were tired of doing their hair.
Definitely.
They wanted to reclaim their time. They were tired of spending so many hours getting ready for work and they just wanted that freedom. They were tired of being in the hair salon all day, And then, then I saw that shift, a wave where it was like, now it's like, I don't know from your experience, but I noticed that the people I served, it was like this journey that they went on where it became like empowering, where they just got deep. Like they just did a lot of self-reflecting and it kind of like shifted how they just showed up, like falling in love with themselves and things of that nature. And then now, but I do also see people where it's more, it seems like, okay, trendy, where I'm just gonna do it today. I wanna keep it in for like a year, then take it out.
Take it out.
That's, so for me, that screams trendy, I mean, everybody comes in with their own journey in mind, so I feel like there's a variety of, reasons why people do.
Yeah, there is a variety, but there's also misinformation. People
Yes.
just really don't know. They don't have the information that they need in order to start the journey,
That's true.
maintenance, just do what they need to do for themselves if they choose to, right?
Right.
So, how can we help? How can we help? How can we get y'all the information? Do we have any questions at all? Any comments about anything?
We have some comments from earlier up when people were talking about how short their hair needs to be. Serena says, I like to establish short locks because she gets to see the actual journey. So she enjoyed that.
Okay.
We have Simply Fly that says she's in a similar situation with fine hair. So we can talk about that as well, because I don't think we went back to touch on fine hair and what that looks like with the interlock versus traditional locks.
Okay.
And I think that's what she was commenting on.
Okay. So what I find is some people think their hair is fine or thin, right? But it's not that. It's just when you're getting your hair blew out or flat iron, it appears to be thinner.
Thinner than what it is.
Thinner than what it is. I myself, whenever I get my hair flat iron, my hair looks thin, but my hair is really thick. It's thick. But you have to just allow your natural curl pattern. A lot of people don't like to see their natural curl pattern. That is either too thick, too coarse, too kinky, too nappy, so maybe, I don't know, maybe if she just allow her curl pattern to.
And I'm sorry, Simplify is a guy. Simplify.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
He's actually one of your clients, Todd.
Yes, one of my clients. He has really soft hair. He's a man. So his hair is kind of like softer than yours. Everybody told him his hair was a lot. It's not a lot. And his hair, we've been doing this since December now, so good 4 months in, and his hair is long.
It's like it, okay.
So, the first set, he was rough with it. We had to take it out like the second time after we started. So the next time I did 2 strand twists, and I put rubber bands on it. I never did this before. I put rubber bands on the end, thinking, when you come back to wash it, it's gonna get fuzzy and just, maintenance it. And it's been working. I think like the third time the rubber bands started popping, I took them off and it was already budded.
Okay.
And he's good.
Wow.
He's already getting locked up and everything.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's one technique.
Yeah, it's the technique that you
Yeah.
choose.
If his hair was longer, I would have back combed it. But he didn't have much hair. His hair was real short. So I coiled it the first time it came out, second time, 2 strand twists and put it in.
Yeah,
Okay.
it worked.
Wow.
Nice.
Congratulations.
I know, nice. And I'll say from the perspective of micro locks, when it comes to dealing with fine hair, you can lock, a lot of times kind of like piggybacking off of what you were saying earlier, sometimes people think their hair is finer than what it is, like, or it's, kinkier than what it is. I'm like, no. Your hair
perfect.
It's perfect, you know. But one thing for sure is that you are going to notice, and this is with any lock, right? It'll start off, let's say, fine in this example, but over time, it's gonna mature and it's going to become thicker. It's actually going to be thicker than if you were not locked.
Right.
You know, because as the hair is shedding, it's shedding within the lock, and that's causing it to kind of pump up for you. So for those who are thinner, guess what, y'all? You can still lock. You can go do micro locks. It's going to get fuller. To what degree? That we don't know, because everyone's hair is going to operate differently. But we can say it is going to be thicker than what it is now.
Just depending on the density.
The density going into it matters, the curl pattern matters, you know. If it's straighter, right, your locks aren't gonna necessarily puff up the same as if it were tightly coiled, you know, but fine. Because you have fine and put curly hair, it's gonna look a little different, but it's still gonna, you know, thicken up.
Yeah.
So, it's doable. And then for me, I would also, depending on how straight it is at the ends, you know, sometimes I'll do a little crocheting, you know, to kind of secure those ends, to keep them from coming out. But yeah, but again, all about techniques, there's so many.
It's so many different techniques. So let's talk about the techniques. We have interlocking,
Yes.
palm rolling, twisting, wicks,
Reform.
freeform. We have, what is the new thing, and they put it on their hand?
Oh, when they're, what do you call that, locksmithing?
Locksmithing.
Okay.
That's a new, more recent technique. What else?
Braids, the worst one.
Yeah.
I hate when people start locksmithing braids.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Why?
It takes forever for the pattern to disappear.
Yeah, for me, that's one of the reasons why I don't offer it, because
Yeah.
for me, I don't like looking at the pattern. It's just a personal preference, right?
Yeah.
And it lingers.
Until it grows down. I mean, it locks from the root down.
Right.
Yes,
So therefore,
yes.
that's why it takes forever
Yeah.
to get rid of the braid look or the
Yeah.
two-strand
But
look.
some people do, and they love it. I mean, it's all about preference, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It depends on the hair texture as well, because certain hair textures will lock fast over, but some,
That's
they'll have locks for 8 years and you'll still see that braid.
Great. That's true. That is
A lot of
true.
them, I be wanting to cut it off. Two-strand twist does that sometimes, but it just depends on the texture as well.
Sure, yeah.
But it's easier with two-strand twist than it is with flats. Flats
Yes.
is the worst way to me to start.
Yeah.
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 So my thing is comb twist and palm rolling. That is the fastest way to me. So
Guaranteed.
that is what I do to make sure they start their
Yes.
lock training early, get their budding in, and
Yes.
the matureness. So people have misconceptions on actually locking and maturity of the lock. They think that just because your hair is locked, they want the look of the matureness.
Yes.
So how can we explain that? Because locking your hair is actually the hair budding.
Right.
And it has to continue to bud in order to get that mature stage. And you get matureness over time.
Right.
It doesn't come as fast as your hair lock. So I know a lot of people like, your hair is not locked. Just because it don't have the look of matureness.
Right.
So,
Well, it's still locks, it's just baby locks. I can't count them out. I don't count it as locks if it's like the first month,
Yeah.
maybe 2 months back. You got locks, it's just baby locks.
so what time frame do y'all say the matureness come? It take your hair to actually mature.
About a year.
Yeah.
And I feel like it depends on that texture.
Right.
It's a small percentage of it, a lot.
Not really.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and
No.
the technique.
But like you said, it depends on what you call locking.
That's true, right? That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
My hair, when I get sister locks, you know,
Yours go crazy.
it takes like 3 years to mature.
Yes,
Yes.
Just
yes.
because of my curl pattern.
That's it. That
My
means your
hair
curl
texture.
pattern is
You
gonna
know,
take a long time.
A long time. So I had locks for a year and people didn't know that I had locks. They just thought I had
Yes, yes.
curly hair.
Have you had traditional locks before?
I have.
How long did that one take to about a year?
So I didn't really give those a chance. Because tender hair.
Yeah.
Retwisting, it just feels like I have a sore patch in my
Okay.
scalp. Do y'all get those type of complaints about? I don't know. It's almost like my hair was being twisted in the wrong direction.
Oh, I see.
And when your hair is being twisted the opposite way that
Yes,
it grows,
grows, yeah.
it creates,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
So, I don't know. But just know, you still have locks, they just don't have the mature look.
And my thing is, I told people, like, technically speaking, you're always locking.
Right.
Because your hair's growing. So
Right.
it's like, that new growth ain't locked. You know, so, but I tell people, because I feel like a lot of times they get really like stuck on like, am I locked? Am I locked? I'm like, what if you aren't? Like, what changes? You can
What's
still,
the rush?
like, what's the rush? Like, what changes? You can still style.
Right.
You can still, granted, you may have to take a different approach. Like when it comes, and we'll probably get to that, but you know how you're caring for it, shampooing, you know, depending on what technique you're going for. But other than that, it's like you can still do what
Two
you
strand twist.
can.
They want two strand twist early.
Yeah.
Two strand twist looks good until it's mature.
Yeah,
They still want it. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be sticking up. It's not gonna have
yes.
Now,
Now,
it don't have the fullness.
so I get it. So that makes sense. You brought in another perspective because with interlocking, it's just interlocking. It starts off that way. It's looking. So I'm like, what's the rush? Soon you'll lose that definition of that interlock, and you know that's when we're like, okay, you may get progress, but you can still do the same thing.
Right.
You know.
Okay, guys, let's talk about shampooing. Y'all wanna talk about shampooing? Like, I found a lot of people do not know how to shampoo locks. That is deep. That is deep because I think what it is, the perception is people try to do the same thing that they do to natural loose hair to locks, including shampooing. The locks are so thick. They are so thick, it takes actually work in order to get inside of the lock to make sure it's clean. And don't shampoo your hair like you wash your clothes.
I just had a visual.
Like people shampoo hair like this, shampoo left like this. No,
That's how to wash. Yes,
the technique is shampooing because when you're doing
shampoo is for loose hair. I don't hear that.
no,
You get in there.
Yeah, because locks is so much stuff inside the locks that you can't even see. So you have to like literally get in it, like.
yeah, get in it, but there's a technique you squeeze. You squeeze.
No, I wash. I wash like I used to wash my clothes in Jamaica.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You create frizz.
Depends on the hair texture.
Any hair texture, when you do this,
Is that back and forth?
that back and forth, it creates frizz. So that's
She
why.
said, in my shop.
Yes, you wash.
You want it clean?
I'm told I do the best washes. Everybody tells me, they tell me I'm the best washer.
Okay. Well,
Don't frizz.
I haven't experienced
Right, she won't even wash her hair. She was coming to get it stopped.
Yeah,
she wouldn't
just
know.
stop. But my perception, my opinion,
Okay.
if you want to get all of the gunk or build up or anything out of your locks, you squeeze it out. Yes, you squeeze it out, and that's it.
Or
For me.
detox.
Yeah.
Detox,
Yeah.
you still squeeze it
Yeah.
out to get all of the stuff out.
Mhm.
Because sometimes you don't even see what's in the lock until you like twist
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
squeeze it. So what is it? I don't know what that is.
And whether you see detox, I said detox, whether you see buildup or not, you should still detox from time to time to get in there
Yes.
and cleanse it. You can't see a lot of things inside.
No matter what locking technique.
You can exactly.
Because
So
we accumulate stuff.
yes, we do.
Yeah.
So the question is, what's in your locks? What is in your locks?
Yeah.
We have pollen, You know,
Yes.
pollen is everywhere.
Yes.
You have
Cat
dust,
hair.
cat hair,
Dog hair.
dust, dog hair, just old product.
Yeah.
You have
Lint from
like
your sweater, your
lint.
scarf.
Yeah, your
yes.
pillowcase, the
Yeah.
carpet, your towel.
Mhm.
Remember, your head produces natural oils. too.
Oils,
Natural
yeah.
oils,
Sweat.
Yeah.
Ugh, all that together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You just have so much stuff just in your locks
It's a
that you're
combination.
just not aware of.
Mhm.
Just because you can't see
Yes,
it.
yes.
Now, don't ask me how it gets in the middle of your locks.
But it makes it
Because
really
the mystery.
It's
It
a
makes
sponge.
it way.
Locks are like a
Makes
sponge.
Yeah,
So
it
you
is.
can go through all them holes.
Yeah, and some people, it's like they attract it so easily, just
Yeah.
walking from here to out the door, it's like,
Mhm.
what did you do? It's
Right.
like so much lint and,
Yeah.
and I will say, when it comes to micro locks, so, especially in the beginning, some people, I stay away from the products, right? So I'm not using products to establish maintain your locks. So that's different from the techniques that you do.
Mhm.
I'm interlocking, so when you're interlocking, it's a bit different, you know? There's not a whole lot of product buildup, but some people do add on moisturizing agents and things of that nature. From my experience, I kind of stay clear from a lot of that because I find that it can lead to slippage. I find that the locks are stronger when you're doing less is more, you know, but again, some people go ahead and they do add the products, but still cleaning is very important nonetheless.
So you do no product like the whole journey, or you just
Yes, some very, very few for my clients. What I have experienced and I always like to preface it to say that I'm speaking from my experience, from my clients, and if it's someone doing something that's different from what I'm accustomed to doing, I'm like, I'm not knocking it, I just haven't had that experience, or I haven't had a reason to do that yet, so it could work fabulously, but what I've noticed with my people, when I notice them having issues with their locks, if they're breaking, if they're thinning, it's always connected to products. I'm like, okay, what did you do? And I find that they all are like acting as though when they get to a certain point of maturity, they go back to the ways of how they were loose natural.
Mhm.
And so they'll start to add all the various products, and then that's when I noticed the lock starting to slip, and it creates a weak point, causing me to have to do some repair and filling in the gaps.
So what do you suggest to them when they have like scalp issues, psoriasis or dry scalp?
So it's interesting in the beginning, because you do have some severe cases.
Mhm.
If I'm being honest, most people will start off like, I have really super dry scalp, and they're concerned about not adding the products to their hair, especially in the beginning, because adding product will lead to slippage. So we really try to stay clear of that. And what I have found is that out of my clients, I want to say majority, like 95%, they actually went through a detox process, and then their scalp was completely fine.
Detox internally? Like
Internally, not even, just the lack of products. Like when I start them on a journey, no, not even that. I mean, I'm sure that plays a role too, right? Because we are what we eat. But when they start their locks and they are not using products, they're like, oh my gosh, time goes by and they realize my scalp is healthy. It did not need all of that.
All of that.
And so I tell them, give your scalp a chance to do that detox to determine, okay, psoriasis, cleaning it, cleansing it, using ointments, the dermatologist plays a role, things of that nature to help cut back on that, because I have psoriasis, right, when I have those flare-ups. And for me, when I add on a lot of oils, right, it makes it worse. So for me, I try to keep my scalp completely dry. So I focus on using clarifying shampoos, especially in the beginning of the locking process, because we're trying to keep the locks from sliding out, because I don't want to have to do my work, right? So that's been like the common thing for me. And I noticed with me having psoriasis when I was locked, my locks, I rarely did any moisturizing in my case. And I live in New England. I'm in Connecticut, right? So the weather can be harsh, cold. Steam treatments works really well. Light, if I'm gonna do, at that time when I was doing products, light, not a lot. And then I was fine, my locks thrived, and I even had color on my locks. So my locks weren't snapping and breaking, but again, that's just from my
I was
perspective.
about to say, you got soft texture hair. So
Nah, it changed on me though.
Yeah.
In the past, when I was locked, it was tightly coiled, like tightly. Now, as I've gotten older, the texture is completely different. Like I can add water, slick it back in a ponytail. So now when I go to do my locks, it's gonna look completely different than my first set.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, so what I found out about just having scalp issues
Yes.
dermatitis,
Yes.
just scalp, like bad dandruff and things of that nature. We as a culture do not shampoo our hair enough.
I thought you was gonna say too much.
No.
No, we don't shampoo enough because, people will say, oh, dirty hair grows. Yeah,
I do hear that. I get that.
clean hair grows because if your hair is dirty, it's clean. Exactly. So you have a lot of people that don't shampoo as often, but not knowing that if you just shampoo your hair, your scalp won't
Healthy.
it'll get back healthy.
Yes.
So just shampoo your hair a little more often.
Which is what, like once a month?
Which is once a month. I mean, what we
That's
were
not
saying,
too
but that's just for locks.
Right.
And
Mhm.
what Ms. Enerlock was speaking on was micro
Micro-locks.
That's it. She don't use products on micro locks.
Yeah,
Because
shampoo,
it is
of
a
course.
different-
Yeah, but
yeah,
not.
shampoo, but it's a different technique.
Yes.
So it's a reason why you don't.
Why I
use-
don't, but there are some locticians who do, they subscribe to that.
Right.
But for me, I just noticed that my clients have issues
Right,
when
yeah.
they're doing that.
And there's a lot of things that people try to use with, say for instance, you have your loose natural hair. The curl, moisturizing stuff that you may put in your hair, people think that can go in locks.
Right.
Your locks are not meant to be, you're not gonna get the same shine that you would in natural.
Can you all look into the camera and say that? Because I don't know how many times I have this conversation and any of my clients listen.
You're not gonna get the same shine, the same moisture for your locks. Locks is just in a different form. So when it's in a different form, you need different products,
Right.
right? You can't use the same thing. And I hear so many people, why is my locks so dry? They're not dry. Your hair will never be dry because we create our own natural oils.
Right.
So it's always gonna have your natural oils, you just can't see them. Like, it's not just on your hand, like if I touch my hair, yeah, it's a little
Yes.
oily because I have natural hair.
Yeah.
Kind of same, so you just have to embrace your lock journey and just know that, I think that cut off on yeah. So Kyle, how do you feel about,
I think it depends on the products that you're using as far as shampoo, because if you're using shampoos that are stripping your hair of oils, and you keep using them and you're not putting the moisture back in, that's what makes your hair dry.
Correct. And when people shampoo their hair, they rarely condition.
Right.
Conditioner is a very important factor
Right.
in your shampoo regimen. Like, you have to condition your hair after shampoo. Because when you shampoo, you strip everything. The oils, the dirt, everything, you strip it out. So, yeah.
And I'm in the business of stripping.
Right.
It all.
So you definitely don't want to use, because you'll use a conditioner thinking, okay, I'm conditioning, and it's not moisturizing.
You're gonna keep restarting them.
You cannot.
Exactly. So do not condition starter locks. Do not shampoo. Do you shampoo starter locks?
Every time.
I don't shampoo starter locks.
I mean, I understand, because back in the day, everybody was scared of shampoo.
Yeah.
I want to say wash so bad. No, like, with my starter locks, I just focus on the scalp. I go like this, I move my hand, and
Right.
when I'm rinsing it, I just pat it. I don't like move
Move
around.
it around.
My starter locks, I just focus on the scalp. I go like this, I move my hand, and
Right.
when I'm rinsing it, I just pat it. I don't like move
Move
around.
around.
You know, she old school. She before all of
I
Well, like,
am.
I used to go. So
Right.
she back at me to use beeswax. So she's gonna think a little different.
She's like, listen, I'll move
Yeah.
my path.
Yes.
So not that she's wrong. She's just a different generation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So 1999 here.
Period.
Listen.
I was a baby.
So my thing is, my locking solution locks hair so fast. In like 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, nice.
So that's just 2 retwists. So your first visit is me starting. You come 2 more times,
Okay.
and then I shampoo.
Okay.
right? So it's not really that they're going a long time without a shampoo.
Yes.
It's just they don't have any scalp conditions
Okay.
once I start because the product is so light.
Well, what is it? Is it oil or is it like a cream?
So
What
it's not. It has oils in it,
is it?
but it's not like a cream or a
Okay.
gel or a wax. It's just a solution.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
solution,
Y'all
you know.
get it? Get
Yeah.
it?
So I mean, that's just the way that I do with my
Yes,
clients.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? And once I shampoo, you get buzz.
Okay.
Like automatically the buzz come out. You get length because it's been 8 weeks
Okay.
now at this
Mhm.
point. So they have length, and I mean it's a whole different transformation.
So what do they use? Like if they have like itchy scalp or whatever, what do you tell them to use?
That's the thing.
There's no itchy
It
scalp.
doesn't.
They don't have an itchy scalp. I have not experienced nobody that started with Lock 'em Up,
Mm-hmm.
the locking solution, with the itchy scalp.
We don't
No
have
lie.
to. Have you
Try
had it
that.
on?
Like, I mean, I
We need
do
to
have
talk.
people.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but
Okay.
there are stylists
Okay.
that are such a lot. They use locking.
We gonna talk about that.
You're right. Because
Yeah.
they found that it don't leave no buildup,
Okay.
no residue,
Okay.
but it's gonna lock their hair faster.
Oh, which people, that's what we want, right?
Because it's
We
so
want
light.
to lock.
Yeah,
Everybody
you
wants
want
to
to
lock.
lock into lock.
Right, because we don't want to have to redo our work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, hey,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna try it on 2 customers.
Okay, try
I'm
to
gonna keep a little tab.
Yeah,
Right,
I
see the
love
progress.
it. Exactly.
Let me know if it's
Please let us know. if
That's
it's
no
itchy.
itch. That's the main
Yes,
thing. That's the main
that's
reason why
awesome.
we're shampooing anyways.
Yeah,
because it's
to
itching.
combat that.
You know, it's dirty, sweaty, so
Yeah.
if that works, why not?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try that.
And then with micro locks, we will shampoo, because of the technique, you can
Right.
shampoo directly after,
Oh,
but you
yeah.
have to just shampoo a certain way where you have to bundle and protect the ends because the locking process starts with the pins. For interlocking, it starts from the bottom and works its way up.
Right.
Whereas, so you have to protect that starting point, so.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, thank you,
This
ladies.
was awesome.
This was so awesome.
This
I
was
really
fun.
appreciate you guys.
I didn't miss much.
We was just warming up the crowd, that's all, we were waiting
I
for warm
appreciate
it up.
y'all.
Yes, so Miss Enerlock, I want to
Yes,
say thank
yes.
you. And tell the people about your interlocking tool that you created
Yes,
yourself,
yes,
right?
I have created. I'm an
Yes.
inventor of a patented tool called Enerlocks. It's a luxury locking tool. It's so funny, I was having such a good time. I forgot about that. Even though Keisha has been waiting patiently for her time to shine. So Keisha, okay, it's all about you now. Okay, so hopefully y'all can see, but I invented a tool. It's kind of, I can't take it off, but it doesn't come like this. It's just a tool itself. But essentially, it allows me or locticians to be able to lock faster. It allows us to be able to lock with more precision, with comfort. It really truly allows us to reclaim our time. Before inventing the tool, my retightenings could take me anywhere from 3 hours, 4.5. And I've been locking for, I want to say, at that point, up to like 10 years, I think 9-10 years, so I had been in the game for a while. But what I noticed is that when I created the stainless steel, the Enerlock stainless steel tool, that my speed increased, whereas my retightening that would take me, let's say 4 hours, cut down to 3, then it cut down to like 2.5.
Oh, wow.
So it completely transferred, and I thought I was fast before. But, so I'm just gonna do a little demonstration. So the tool opening is facing the scalp. And when holding the tool, you're not like squeezing it, because that would feel very uncomfortable. We want to protect our wrists, right? But it's nice and light, and you're just gliding with it. So you're going down at the base, and you go to that point where the lock has started, to the bottom, the base of it. And you're essentially just using your non-dominant hand to wrap around to go into that little notch. And then your pointer finger on your dominant hand, you're sliding it to hold it to usher it out. And so when one is doing this, you can easily just go through the process of interlocking versus using a tool where you're having to thread the needle. So for me, I was like, I'm not about that life. I'm not really trying to thread needles like every single lock, especially with the smaller locks, because you can have 300, 400 I don't know how y'all do it, but I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
I think it's great for doing self-retightenings. That's a tool that I would use for self-retightening.
Okay.
But when it comes to servicing my clients, I want to be able to get them. I want to reclaim my time and gain them, their time back. And so the way that the tool is designed too, there's a little opening at the base of it. And typically, I don't even have it on me to demonstrate. Go to my page, you all.
Yeah, so give them some information on how
How you can get it.
Yeah.
So we are on all of the streaming platforms. So we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook. It's Enerlocks, so it's the words energy and locks combined. So ENERLOCKS, because it's all about the whole mindfulness of locking and wanting to promote us to be more present in the practice of servicing our clients so that we give them better experiences. So not only are we helping them to reclaim their time, the loctician, we're helping their client to experience more comfort, they get their time back while being mindful of our whole energy that we are sharing. Because energy transfers, right?
Right,
So
I
that's the whole
love that.
concept. But I was gonna say, usually there's an extender, a bracelet that I wear so that when I am locking, if the tool falls, it's going nowhere. So again, I cut back on that time because otherwise you have to stop, sanitize, disinfect, all of that. So with this, it goes nowhere, it just dangles and it's durable. So feel that. Does it feel like that's going, like it's durable, right? You feel secure with that. Right?
This is nice.
Yeah.
This is nice, guys.
Yeah. Our luxury
Yes.
tools.
So I can fit in any size lock?
Yeah,
Or do
for
you
the
have
most
different
part.
sizes?
No, so it's kind of like our universal size. Now, granted, if the person lock can interlock using like a crochet, you can use the tool. But if they're like thick, like wig locks, that's not even the technique you use anyway. But if it's real thick, the tool. But at that point, you're usually pommeling. At that point. But if it's an interlock, if you typically have interlock, or the technique that's being done is an interlocking technique, the tool will work for that. From small to larger.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you
thank
for
you
being
so
here.
much. This is amazing.
So we have Kai as well. Kai the stylist. Let the people know how to get in touch with you, and thank you for being here.
You can find me on all platforms. It's Hydrate Natural Hair Spa. We're located in Stockbridge, Georgia, and of course we specialize in natural hair. I do only locks though, but I have other people that work in my salon that specialize in other things for natural hair. So check us out.
Yes, thank you so much. And hello, I am your host, Melissa Scott, CEO of Lock 'em Up Products, and we really appreciate you guys for joining our live today. I hope that you were able to get some information, like valuable information from our ladies and myself as well. And of course, you can reach me on all platforms at Lock 'em Up Products, lockemup.com. As a matter of fact, I had some good news to share with you guys, but right now my mind just went completely blank.
I was like, ooh, the build up.
My mind just went completely blank. So would you like to help me out?
Apprenticeship.
I know, but what is the name? I forgot.
We'll be announcing soon.
Okay, so I am having an apprenticeship program. So technically, I'm building the next me.
Oh, awesome.
I'm not
You're
retired.
retired?
No, I am not. But we are looking for great people with, good talent, good gifts, that's gifted in talent and just don't know how to build a clientele, right? And just don't know what to do. So in this apprenticeship program, you will learn how to build your business, build your clientele, also make your own product line. So yes, this is gonna be so exciting. I cannot wait until
This free
the
game?
program. This free game right now, right here. But so if you are interested or know anybody that's interested, that's talented and just, haven't got to that point where they can step outside and just build their own business.
So what does that look like? Do you have to be local to the States, or is there virtual options for our viewers?
Of course, there are always virtual options because a lot of people don't even like to come out the house right now. But if you want to build clientele, you have to come outside.
Yes,
You know?
yeah.
If you want to build your own business, you have to
Yes,
come outside.
absolutely.
And just know that there's no one on this earth that can make you more money than you can make yourself.
Hello.
So let's get into it. You know, believe in yourself and let's build your clientele and see, you know, your entrepreneurship come alive.
Yes.
I'm super excited, but that is a wrap for our show. Thank you guys for joining in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
That was fun.
I don't know which one it is.